السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send blessings and salutation upon His messenger Muhammad ibn Abdullah salawatu rabbi wa salamu alayhi. My beloved brothers and sisters, it's a great honor that we've gathered tonight to remind each other about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this noble deed from us, inshallah. Ikhwani fillah, the topic today is the virtue of Sha'ban and Fadl Sha'ban. And Sha'ban is one of the months in the Islamic calendar. As we all know that the Islamic calendar is different from the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar, they follow the sun. As for us Muslims, we follow the lunar calendar depending on the moon. Not only do the Muslims follow the lunar calendar, also some communities in this world, they also do that, like the Chinese community. They follow the lunar calendar. And in these months, and in the Islamic calendar we have 12 months. I see young boys that are here. So I say that pop a question as a refresher for young boys. I need to ask a question. How many months do you have in the Islamic calendar? And who knows all the months? You know? Come. Microphone, Habibi. سلمي ما شاء الله وقوع بسلام. مقاعدة الحج. تكبير. أحسن. What's your name? Zakaria. Okay. Most boys at your age, they love PlayStation. I don't have money for PlayStation, but I'll make dua for you, inshallah. May Allah grant him tawfiq and preserve him, inshallah. Allah barakallahu. Wengine wanasema imamu ni machoyo, kazi yao ni dua peke yake. So I'm sure if I ask most of the people who have reached the age of 30 and above, I ask them to say the same thing that this boy has said, they'll not be able to say some of us. True or false? Kwa hivyo afadhali tusaidishane, wacha ibaki hapa. So, as this young fellow has mentioned, the month of Sha'ban, and he mentioned it in order, whereby he started with Muharram and he ended it with Dhul Hijjah. Now, in this month of Sha'ban is considered as the 8th month in the Islamic calendar. And this month of Sha'ban is between one of the sacred months, which is Rajab and Ramadan. It's in between. And it's a month that a lot of people can't wait for Ramadan. We also have countdowns. 3 days to Ramadan, 3 weeks to Ramadan. And now we are all preparing for Ramadan, and we end up forgetting about this special month of Sha'ban. It's so special, and I'll explain why. And the people, when it comes to the month of Sha'ban, people have taken 3 parts. There's something that all the scholars have agreed upon, that this is Sahih. It's about the month of Sha'ban. There is one that there is difference of opinion. And there's something that people do in Sha'ban that is not part of the Sunnah. In fact, it's Bid'ah. These are the 3 parts that people have taken. We'll start with something that all the scholars have agreed, that is amongst the virtue of the month of Sha'ban. The Prophet ﷺ used to fast in this month of Sha'ban. And the reason why this month is named Sha'ban is because the Arabs were scattered in this month because they will go and search for water, or they'll be scattered because they will go and fight, because in the month of Rajab people were not allowed to fight. So it was also sacred to the people, the Arab pagans, mushrikeen. So immediately Rajab is done, they will go and start fighting. That's why it's named Sha'ban. And the Prophet ﷺ would fast in this month so much that even the Sahabas would wonder, other than the month of Ramadan, there is no month that the Prophet ﷺ would fast so much like this month of Sha'ban. al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiallahu anha says, she narrates and says, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يصوم حتى نقول لا يفطر ويفطر حتى نقول لا يصوم فما رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم استكمل صيام شهر إلا رمضان وما رأيته أكثر صيام منه في شعبان. And this is the last part that I want. She says, and Aisha is the wife of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. She explains and she says, I never saw Allah's Messenger fasting for a whole month except the month of Ramadan, and I didn't see him fasting any month more than any other month like Sha'ban. After Ramadan, when it comes to fasting the whole month, the second month that would come, that the Prophet ﷺ would fast so much, was in this month of Sha'ban. Why was he fasting? He was asked by Usama bin Zayd radiallahu anhu. Usama asked this question and he said, Ya Rasulullah, لم أرك تصوم شهرا من الشهور ما تصوم من شعبان. He said, O Messenger of Allah, why don't I see you fast on other months like you're fasting in Sha'ban? Why do you fast so much in Sha'ban? Then sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he explained, he said, ذلك شهر يغفل عنه الناس أو يغفل الناس عنه بين رجب ورمضان. The reason why I fast is, this is a month that people neglect, that is between Rajab and Ramadan. This Sha'ban is in between Rajab and Ramadan. And then he says, since people don't pay attention to it, people who are busy in Rajab because it's a sacred month, and people are waiting for Ramadan, they end up forgetting about this month and they neglect it. Now for this reason, I want to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when people are neglecting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when people are in ghafla, they're neglecting the teachings of Allah. For example, when people are busy with celebrating New Year, do a lot of dhikr, because the people around us are neglecting the teachings of Allah. So he said, this is a month that people don't pay attention to. That's why I fast. That's the first reason. And then he says, وَهُوَ شَهْرٌ تُغْفَرُ فِيهِ الْأَعْمَالُ إِلَى رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And in that month, in the month of Sha'ban, people's deeds are being raised to Allah, the Lord of mankind. فَأُحِبُّ أَنْ يُرْفَعَ عَمَلِي وَأَنَا صَائِمٌ. And I love that my deeds are being raised and taken to Allah while I'm fasting. And this is the main virtue of the month of Sha'ban. That in this month, all our deeds are taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now comes to another point. How are deeds presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The deeds are presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a manner that differs from one time to another. Our deeds, everything that we do to Allah, that we do every day, whether good or bad, they are recorded. There are angels that are given the work to record whatever we do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about them. He says, Kiraman Katibin Ya'lamuna Ma Taf'alun. Allah talks about it. Our Imam led the prayer today with Surah Al-Qaf, مَا يَلْفِظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. You do not utter any word unless it's written down. And they are there to record everything. And the recording will be so major, nothing will be left out, that some of the people, when they are given their books on the day of judgment, as it's explained in Surah Al-Isra, اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. They are told, read your book, take your record, you judge yourself where you're going to go. And that's one of the hardest times in the day of judgment, when someone is told, soma kitabu chako, angalia umefanya nini, kisha wewe mwenyewe uamue ni wakwenda motoni ama kwenda peponi. One of the hardest things of the day of judgment. And some people, when they're given their books and they see their recording, they'll be shocked. They'll be so much shocked to the extent that they'll start complaining. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala explains in Surah Al-Kahf, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. There will be so much shock when you recite Surah Al-Kahf on Friday. Pay attention to this verse. مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ. What is wrong with this book? لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرًا وَلَا كَبِيرًا. It has not left out anything. Anything small, the angels have written. Anything big, the angels have written. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu says that even when you smile, the angels, they write it down. And you'll explain, why did you smile? Did you smile because التبسم في وجه أخيك صدقة? Did you smile because you smiling towards your brother is a form of sadaqah? Or you smile because you saw a girl passing or a boy passing and you smile to that girl and you have evil intentions? You'll have to explain why you smiled to that day. That when people are given their books and they're told, explain, why did you smile on this day? They'll be shocked. لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا. And they'll find everything that they did, it's there. ولا يظلم ربك أحدا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is not unjust to people. Everyone will end up in Jahannam because of not everyone, astaghfirullah. Those who will end up in Jahannam is because of the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To the extent that when someone is given his book, Allah would ask that person, is there something that you did not do, that the angels just wrote it? Then they'll say, you know, everything that I did is here. These deeds that the angels write, they are taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are taken to Allah daily, twice every day. They are taken to Allah weekly, twice, Monday and Thursday. They are taken to Allah annually during the month of Sha'ban. They are taken to Allah when we die, our records are closed, and it's taken to Allah when our soul leaves our body. ترفع الأعمال إلى الله 4 مرات في 4 جهات. المرة الأولى في الصباح والمساء, in the morning and the evening. The second way that deeds are taken to Allah is every Monday and Thursday, weekly. The third way is annually, when people do auditing, when it comes to Ramadan, when it comes to Sha'ban, everything that we did the whole year will be taken to Allah. And when we die, our record is taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the proof of that? What is the proof? In hadith of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu, that is narrated by Imam Muslim, he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not sleep. لا ينام ولا ينبغي له أن ينام, and it is not befitting that he should sleep. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala يرفع القسط, He lowers the balance and raises it. And the deeds of the night are taken up to Him before the deeds of the day, and the deeds of the day before the deeds of the night. What does that mean? What it means is that the angels that come twice, they exchange each other. The angels that come during the time of Asr, and the angels, and they stay. Those who came Asr today are with us till Fajr, and they record what we did. They are recording now that we must be humble, listening to a lecture. It's written in the record. You pray Isha, it's written. You pray Tahajjud, it's written. You go to your house, spend time with your wife, whatever you discuss, any good thing you do, it's written. You wake up for Tahajjud, it's written. When it reaches Fajr, they go back to Allah. And they take the report and the recording that they've done from Asr till Fajr. When they go up, they change. They exchange with the angels that come during the day. And from Fajr till Asr, whatever we do, you pray Fajr, it's written. You read Quran after Fajr, it's written. After Fajr, you go and do business, you're dealing, whether you lie or you tell the truth, it's written. Everything is written till Asr. And then those who came from Fajr till Asr, they take the record and they take it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now ask yourself, what will the angels write and what will the angels say about you? Because the angels, they'll be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how was my salah? It is narrated in Al-Bukhari and Muslim by Abu Hurairah who says, the angels of the night and the day come to you in succession. And they meet at Fajr and Asr prayer. Then those who stay among you ascend to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah asks them, yet He knows, how did you leave my slave? And the angels will say, we left them. They were praying and we came to them when they were praying. You were praying Fajr and you were praying Asr. But if you are not praying, what will the angel who's to write your deeds, what will you tell Allah? If you miss out on Fajr, if you miss out on Asr, if you miss out on Fajr because you're sleeping, or you miss out on Asr because of work, what report do you want the angels to take every day? This is something that we should think about. Another way, or also, deeds attending to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala twice each week. The Prophet ﷺ says, people's deeds are shown to Allah twice each week, on Monday and Thursday. And every believing slave is forgiven, except a person whom and his brother there is a dispute. And this is another issue. A whole week you fast, Monday you fast, Thursday you wake up Tahajjud, you go to the masjid. There are some deeds that are shown to Allah. And the deeds that are done, that are good, Allah accepts them. But there's a group of people that even if they do good, Allah will not accept it. Allah will not even look at them. Who are they? These are people, Muslim brothers, who don't talk to each other. Because they are angry at each other, because they have problems amongst them, family issues, because maybe business, because of work, because of da'wah, they don't talk to each other. No matter how much good deed you do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, انظر إلى هؤلاء حتى يصطلحا. Allah says, leave these two until they reconcile. I will not look at them. Now this is a warning to all of us. If you know that you have someone, a Muslim brother, that you're angry at, and you don't talk to that brother, then know that your deeds, no matter how much you do, Allah will not look at them. Now imagine Ramadan comes, you fast. Imagine the last 10 days comes of Ramadan, you pray Laylatul Qadr, and you're seeking Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. you're seeking the rewards, then Allah says, this servant does not talk to that person. I will not look at it. Khasara. Khasara. Hatta yastabika. Let them go back and reconcile. So my dear brothers and sisters, the recording that is taken to Allah weekly, as much as you are happy that you've done good, but at the end of the day, there's a catch. And that catch is, you should reconcile with anyone that you have a problem with. May Allah grant us the faith, inshallah. The other way that the deeds are taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now is in this month of Sha'ban. In this month of Sha'ban, the things that we've done throughout the year, from last Ramadan, you fasted, you paid your zakah, maybe you went for Umrah, you gave sadaqah, you read a lot of Quran, you did a lot of dhikr, you fed poor people, you gave iftar, all that from last Ramadan. And they're recording every good or bad deed that you've done till now, it's taken into Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month of Sha'ban. I'll repeat the hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was asked, why do you fast so much in this month of Sha'ban? And he said, that is a month concerning which people are heedless. They neglect this month that is between Rajab and Ramadan, but it is a month in which good deeds are taken to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reason why I fast, I would like my deeds to be taken up when I'm fasting. So any good deed, any bad deed that we've done throughout the year, it's presented in this month of Sha'ban. And this is the most authentic hadith that talks about the virtue of Sha'ban. Now, what are we supposed to do this month? We follow Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in his teachings. We fast as much as we can. Every Monday, fast in this month. Every Thursday, fast. We have ayam that is ahead of us when it comes to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. These are the white days. Fast. This coming Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, fast. Ayam Fast as much as you can in this month of Sha'ban. This is how the Prophet ﷺ would prepare himself for Ramadan also. When you fast in the month of Sha'ban, you are also preparing yourself for the month of Ramadan. How is that? The scholars have said, the same way you come to the masjid, the time of Dhuhr, or the time of Salat al-Fajr, there is 2 rak'ahs of Sunnah before Salat al-Fajr. After the adhan is made, you pray 2 rak'ahs, and then you pray your Fard, Salat al-Fajr. These 2 rak'ahs is qabliyah, it's before Salat al-Fajr. And the Prophet ﷺ talks about these 2 rak'ahs and he says, ركعتين قبل الفجر خير من الدنيا وما فيها. 2 rak'ahs that you pray before Salat al-Fajr, it's better than the world and everything that is in it. That 2 rak'ahs prepares you for Salat al-Fajr. The scholars have said, the same thing you do when you fast in Sha'ban, it prepares you for Ramadan. Why is it important? There's a scientific reason why people, the scientific signs in fasting in the month of Sha'ban. The scholars have said it was scientifically proven that the human body in the first fasting days begins to consume its stored reserved fats, proteins and other things to compensate on the shortage of the reduction of food in the body. As a result, some poisons flow in the blood before the body throws them out with the leftovers. That is why the fasting man or the person who fasts feels some symptoms like headache, weakness, quick temper, bad temper, and he may be abusive, and sometimes it's easy for him to break the fast during the first days of fasting. After a few days of fasting, the first 3-4 days, these symptoms disappear when the hormones ratio in blood return to their nature bi'idhnillah. Now, those who fast for Sha'ban, in the month of Sha'ban, in preparation for Ramadan, the scholars have said, or it's scientifically proven and they've said, the voluntary Sha'ban fasting is considered as training on the obligatory fasting of Ramadan and to remove the fasting hardship in the beginning of Ramadan. So your body becomes prepared for the month of Ramadan. This is something that the scholars have agreed on the virtue of Sha'ban. There's something that people do that is not amongst the virtue of Sha'ban. We finished the main part. Now, when it reaches on the 15th of Sha'ban, some people have this idea or belief that the 15th of Sha'ban is very special. Now, the 15th of Sha'ban is going to be this coming Friday. It's going to be this coming Friday. There are some people who do all kinds of innovation. They do some bid'ah. What do they do on this night of Sha'ban? I met one brother and he told me what his family, they normally do on the 15th of Sha'ban. They believe that in this night of 15th of Sha'ban, that is the night that the risk of everyone is written. So what do? He said, our family, what we used to do is we used to prepare all kinds of foods. And that night, risk and life is extended. Your risk is increased and your life is extended. They say that is the belief that they have. So they say in this 15th of Sha'ban, we will cook all kinds of foods that we cook in the house throughout the year. So you can imagine everything that they make throughout the year, the different type of foods they will make. Kama ni maharagwe, pollo, they'll make. Kama ni chapati, kama ni anjera, they'll make. If it's biris, if it's pasta, they'll make. If it's sima, they will make all kinds of food and they will present it on the table. And they believe that this is a time that you'll make that food and that food you'll be able to make it the following year. And also they believe that the dua that you ask Allah in this night, it's accepted, especially life of a person is increased. If you're meant to live for 40 years, and then you make dua on this night, of 15th of Sha'ban, they say that it will increase your time in this earth. Maybe you live for 60 years instead of 40. Now this is all innovation. This is bid'ah. There is nothing in the Sunnah that is sahih that talks about this. And what do? They come up with all kinds of celebration. And they would meet. Even some mosques here in Nairobi they do. I know some mosques here, even in South Sea, there's some mosques that do here. So they will meet on the 15th of Sha'ban. And they will pray special rak'ahs after Maghrib. They will pray 6 rak'ahs, 2, 2, 2. Some will pray 14, some will pray 6, some will pray 12. Things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not revealed upon. And on this night, they will specifically recite Surah Yasin, and they will recite Surah Al-Ikhlas, and they will do a lot of recitations. Now this is not part of the Sunnah. The Prophet never did it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His companions never did it, ridwanullahi alayhim. And the pious predecessors, Salafus Salih, they did do this, making of food and praying these 2 rak'ahs, 6 rak'ahs between Maghrib and Isha. This is not talk of the virtue of Sha'ban. It excludes this bid'ah that we are talking about. Shaykh Ibn Baz, rahimahullah, says, there is no sound hadith indicating the virtue of of this month, or of this night of 15th Sha'ban, and all the reported ahadith about the virtue of the 15th of Sha'ban, this Sha'ban, are weak or are fabricated. Weak is da'if, fabricated is mawdu'. Mawdu' is someone making up something that the Prophet never said. And will say the Prophet said this, yet the Prophet never said it. And the one who lies against the Prophet, what is the reward? Who knows? Whoever who lies against the Prophet. There's a hadith that whoever who lies and makes up something new and he said the Prophet did this or the Prophet said this, yet it never happened. There's a reward for him. Now, حديث نعم غير هذا. أحسنت. من كذب علي متعمدا فليتبوأ مقعده من النار. The Prophet ﷺ said, the one who lies against me and he says, I've done this, yet I never did, or I said this, yet I never said, there's a special place preserved for him in Jahannam, so let him prepare himself for that place. A very stern warning. Man kadhaba alayya. The ones who lies, the one who lies, anyone, it doesn't matter whoever you are, anyone. Man kadhaba alayya muta'ammidan falyatabawwa maq'adahu min an-nar. Let him know that there's a special place reserved in Jahannam for him. Waliyadu billah. A very strong warning. Now, these are fabricated hadith that talks about the virtue of this Sha'ban. The reality is, it's an ordinary night and has no special recitation. You don't have to recite Surah Yasin. There's nothing authentic about it. Or there's no special prayer. Or there's no special gathering. People meet the way they meet for Salatul Jum'ah. This is not part of the Sunnah. The Prophet never did it, nor did the Sahaba ever do this. This is something that the scholars of Sunnah have agreed upon, that is part of the Bid'ah. Now, there is one issue about the Nisf of Sha'ban that the scholars have differed. This is the only issue. And that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive everyone except two people. There is a hadith, and depending on the madhab that you've taken amongst the scholars of hadith, some scholars have said this hadith is authentic, some scholars have said this hadith is not authentic. And this is the difference between scholars of hadith. Ibn Hibban says this hadith is authentic. Al-Tabarani reported this hadith. Sheeq al-Albani rahimahullah, he says this is a sound hadith. Some scholars say this hadith also is not sahih. Amongst the current scholars that say that this hadith is not authentic is also xanbal12. He said even this hadith is not authentic. But there's a difference amongst the scholars. What is this hadith? The Prophet ﷺ talks about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looking down upon his servants on the night of Nisf Sha'ban. This hadith was narrated by Abi Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu, and he says that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَيَطَّلِعُ فِي لَيْلَةِ النِّصْفِ مِنْ شَعْبَانَ فَيَغْفِرُ لِجَمِيعِ خَلْقِهِ إِلَّا لِمُشْرِكٍ أَوْ مُشَاحٍ. Abu Musa radiallahu anhu narrated, and he said that verily Allah looks down in the middle night of Sha'ban, the 15th, and He forgives everyone except for two people. Mushrik. Mushrik is someone who associates partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or mushahin, someone who's harboring malice and is not ready to forgive. This hadith is the only hadith that talks about Nisfu Sha'ban, that some scholars even have differed if it's Sahih or if it's Da'if. But great scholars of hadith like Sheikh Al-Albani says, this hadith is Hasan, is a sound hadith. It's fair. Now, this hadith talks about very two important things, or three important things. This Sha'ban is going to be this coming Friday. The night of this Sha'ban is Thursday night, because in the Islamic calendar, on a normal day, when does the day change in the Gregorian calendar? When it reaches 12 midnight, we start a new day. And right now, with the Gregorian calendar, today is still Saturday. Until if it reaches 12 midnight, 12 a.m., then we start immediately, we start Sunday. But that's not the case with the Islamic calendar. The Islamic calendar is different. When it reaches Maghrib, now, according to the Islamic calendar, we're already on Sunday. That's why, when Ramadan starts, we look for the moon. At what time? Maghrib. And when we sight the moon, we pray Tarawih that same day, even if we did not fast, because Ramadan has started. And when it reaches on the 29th of Ramadan, or the 30th of 29th of Ramadan, we start looking for the moon, we sight for the moon. And when we see the moon, we do not pray Tarawih that night, even if we fasted that day, because Eid has already started. Now, when we talk about the night of Nisfu Sha'ban, it refers to the night, Maghrib of the previous day. Now, the night of Nisfu Sha'ban is going to be Thursday night, Maghrib, morning prayer. Now, what happens according to this hadith? On this special night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would look at His servants, and He will look at them with the eyes of mercy. And Allah wants to forgive people before Ramadan comes. And Allah will forgive everyone. But there are two people that miss out on this. Two people who will miss out on the forgiveness of Allah. One would be someone who does sheeq. And sheeq encompasses a lot of things. Associating partners with Allah. And the second thing would be, and the second person who would miss out is someone who's not ready to forgive others. Yes, you've been wronged. Yes, you are right. But if you're not willing to forgive people, then that night Allah will not forgive you. You'll miss out. Hauko tayari kusamehe wenzako, na wewe pia hutasamehe. وَلْيَعْفُوا وَلْيَصْفَحُوا أَلَا تُحِبُّونَ أَنْ يَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ? Don't you want Allah to forgive you? We all want Allah to forgive us. So, according to this hadith, that is considered a sound hadith for Shaykh Al-Albani, people will be forgiven except these two people. So, two things you should have. Two things you should not have. Keep away from shirk. And do not have a grudge against anyone. Let it go before Ramadan comes, and let it go before Nisfu Sha'ban, so that you are able to be forgiven. Now, this is what we'll talk about. This is what we've talked about the month of Sha'ban, the authentic virtues, the fabricated virtues, and the ones that there's difference of opinion of Nisfu Sha'ban. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us ikhlas and tawfiq. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. وفقنا فيه الصيام والقيام من صالح أعمال. اللهم بارك لنا في رجب وشعبان وبلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. اللهم بلغنا رمضان. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.